On this 10th and last day of the August 97 retreat, we will read from several selections teachers and poets ranging from 1,000 years ago until contemporary. Not to present different authors, but to allow someone else's words to speak and convey what we've been talking about and looking at together. I did receive a mild complaint that these readings are too long. That afterwards one feels, even though they're beautiful, the person said beautiful and good, but afterwards one feels like having eaten too much, too rich a meal. And one other remark was made a few years ago by someone who said, I got frustrated at one piece following another because I wanted to think some more about this one piece. So, for those of us who need to look more into this, we do post, I hope the coordinators will do this, we do post a bibliography because there are usually lots of requests. What is the name of this book or that book that you read from? And you can copy that from the bulletin board. I have abbreviated the reading for today. I have cut out several things. You wouldn't believe it by looking at the size of this stack. And let me know. I appreciate feedback on these things. The first selection is from the Zen teaching of Wang Po, translated by John Blofeld. Wang Po, a Chinese Zen teacher, lived 1,000 years ago. His talks were written down by his disciple, a Buddhist scholar and also the governor of the province where Wang Po taught. The word Buddha does not just refer to the historical religious leader, Gautama Buddha, but it also is a Sanskrit word for the awakened mind or the awakened being. Our original Buddha nature is, in highest truth, devoid of any atom of objectivity. It is void, omnipresent, silent, pure. It is glorious and mysterious, peaceful joy, and that is all. Enter deeply into it by awakening to it yourself. That which is before you is it in all its fullness, utterly complete. There's naught beside. Even if you go through all the stages of progress toward Buddhahood, one by one, when at last you attain to realization, you will only be realizing the Buddha nature which has been with you all the time. And by all the foregoing stages, you will have added to it nothing at all. You will come to look upon those eons of work and achievement as no better than unreal actions performed in a dream. That is why Buddha said, I truly attained nothing from complete, unexcelled enlightenment. Full understanding can come to you only through an inexpressible mystery. The approach to it is called the gateway of stillness beyond activity. If you wish to understand, know that a sudden comprehension comes when the mind is purged of all the clutter of conceptual and discriminatory thought activity. Those who seek the truth by means of intellect and learning only get further and further away from it. Not till your thoughts cease all their branching here and there, not till you abandon all thoughts of seeking for something, will you be on the right road. Though others may talk of the way of the Buddhas as something to be reached by various pious practices and scripture study, you must have nothing to do with such ideas. A perception, sudden as blinking, that subject and object are one, will lead to a deeply mysterious, wordless understanding. And by this understanding, you awake to the truth. Your true nature is something never lost to you, even in moments of delusion, nor is it gained at the moment of enlightenment. It depends on nothing and is attached to nothing. It is all-pervading, spotless beauty. It is the self-existent and uncreated absolute. It is a jewel beyond all price. When a sudden flash of thought occurs in your mind and you see it for a dream or an illusion, when a sudden flash of thought occurs in your mind and you see it for a dream or an illusion, then you can enter into the state reached by the Buddhas of the past. Not that the Buddhas of the past really exist, or that the Buddhas of the future have not yet come into existence. Above all, have no longing to become a future Buddha. Your sole concern should be, as thought succeeds thought, to avoid clinging to any of them. Krishnamurti, from a selection compiled by the Krishnamurti Foundation, India. This one is from the Star Bulletin, 1932. The individual problem is the world problem. If the individual has found happiness, has created order within himself, then he will create order in the world around him. And in helping others to solve their own individual problems, he will help to solve the world problem. You think that in seeking the liberation of the self, there is the suggestion of egotism. You think that to be happy is a selfish realization. You think that to be free from all sorrow and strife is a desertion of the world. This is a misconception. Liberation is the very antithesis of the sense of the ego, of I-ness. It is the ultimate realization for all people. Another selection from The Flame of Attention. This comes from a collection, The Meditative Mind, put together by the Foundation in America, Ojai. It is immensely important to know and to understand the depth and beauty of meditation. Human beings have always been asking from timeless time whether there is something beyond all thought, beyond all romantic inventions, beyond all time. They have always been asking, is there something beyond all this suffering, beyond all this chaos, beyond wars, beyond the battle between human beings? Is there something that is immovable, sacred, utterly pure, untouched by any thought, by any experience? This has been the inquiry of serious people from the ancient of days. To find that out, to come upon it, meditation is necessary. Not the repetitive meditation that is utterly meaningless. There is a creative energy which is truly religious when the mind is free from all conflict, from all the travail of thought. To come upon that which has no beginning, no end. That is the real depth of meditation and the beauty of it. This is from the beginnings of learning. These are transcriptions from conversations and talks with children at the Brockwood School in England. Krishnamurti talking to the children. When you sit very quietly or lie down very quietly, the body is completely relaxed, isn't it? Have you ever tried to sit very, very quietly? Not to force it, because the moment you force it, it is finished. To sit very quietly, either with your eyes open or closed. If you have your eyes open, there is a little bit more distraction. You begin to see things. So, after looking at things, the curve of the tree, the leaves, the bushes, after looking at it all with care, then close your eyes. Then you will not say to yourself, what's happening? Let me look. First, look at everything. The furniture, the color of the chair, the color of the sweater. Look at the shape of the tree. After having looked, the desire to look out is less. I've seen that blue sky, I've finished with it. I won't look again. But you must first look, then you can sit quietly. When you sit quietly or lie down very quietly, the blood flows easily into your head, doesn't it? There's no strain. That's why they say you must sit cross-legged with head very straight, because the blood flows easier that way. If you sit crouched, it is more difficult for the blood to go to the head. So you sit or lie down very, very quietly. Don't force it, don't fidget. If you fidget, then watch it. Don't say, I must not. Then when you sit very quietly, you watch your mind. First you watch the mind. Don't correct it. Don't say, this thought is good, that thought is not good. Just watch it. Then you will see that there is a watcher and the watched. There's a division. The moment there is a division, there is conflict. Now, can you watch without the watcher? Is there a watching without the watcher. It is the watcher that says, this is good and that is bad. I like this and I don't like that. Or, I wish she hadn't said this or that. I wish I had more food. To watch without the watcher, try it sometime. It's part of meditation. Just begin with that. It's good enough. And you will see, if you have done it, what extraordinary things take place. Your body becomes very, very intelligent. Now the body is not intelligent because we have spoiled it. Do you understand what I mean? We have destroyed the natural intelligence of the body itself. Then you will find that the body says, go to bed at the right time. It wants it. It has its own intelligence and activity. And also, if it wants to be lazy, then let it be lazy. One selection from I Am That by Nisargadatta, contemporary Indian sage, died in the early 80s, close to the time Krishnamurti died, a little bit before then. Translated by Maurice Friedman. Questioner. Maharaj, you are sitting in front of me, and I am here at your feet. What is the basic difference between us? Nisargadatta. There is no basic difference. Questioner. Still, there must be some real difference. I come to you, you do not come to me. Nisargadatta. Because you imagine differences, you go here and there in search of superior people. Questioner. You too are a superior person. You claim to know the real while I do not. Nisargadatta. Did I ever tell you that you do not know and therefore you are inferior? Let those who invented such distinctions prove them. I do not claim to know what you do not. In fact, I know much less than you do. Questioner. Your words are wise, your behavior noble, and your grace all-powerful. Nisargadatta. I know nothing about it all and see no difference between you and me. My life is a succession of events just like yours. Only I am detached and see the passing show as a passing show, while you stick to things and move along with them. Questioner. What made you so dispassionate? Nisargadatta. Nothing in particular. It so happened that I trusted my guru. He told me I am nothing but myself, and I believed him. Trusting him, I behaved accordingly and ceased caring for what was not me nor mine. Self in this particular Indian system is the same as the whole. The absolute, the Buddha nature. Question, why were you so lucky to trust your teacher fully while our trust is nominal and verbal? Nisargadatta, who can say it happened so? Things happen without cause or reason. And after all, what does it matter who is who? Your high opinion of me is your opinion only. Any moment you may change it. Why attach importance to opinions, even your own? Question is still, you are different. Your mind seems to be always quiet and happy, and miracles happen around you. Nisargadatta, I know nothing about miracles, and I wonder whether nature admits exceptions to her laws, unless we agree that everything is a miracle. As to my mind, there is no such thing. There is consciousness in which everything happens. It is quite obvious and within the experience of everybody. You just do not look carefully enough. Look well and see what I see. Questioner, what do you see? Nisargadatta, I see what you too could see here and now, but for the wrong focus of your attention. You give no attention to yourself. Your mind is all with things, people, and ideas, never with yourself. Bring yourself into focus. Become aware of your own existence. See how you function. Watch the motives and the results of your actions. Study the prison you have built around yourself by inadvertence. By knowing what you are not, you come to know yourself. One thing is certain, the real is not imaginary, it is not a product of the mind. Once you are convinced that you cannot say truthfully about yourself anything except I am, and that nothing that can be pointed at can be yourself, you are no longer intent on verbalizing what you are. All you need is to get rid of the tendency to define yourself. All definitions apply to your body only and to its expressions. Once this obsession with the body goes, you will revert to your natural state spontaneously and effortlessly. The only difference between us is that I am aware of my natural state while you are bemused. Just like gold made into ornaments has no advantage over gold dust, except when the mind makes it so, so are we one in being. We differ only in appearance. We discover this by being earnest, by searching, inquiring, questioning daily and hourly, by giving one's life to this discovery. A selection from Being and Becoming by Vimal Ataka, an Indian teacher. She used to travel worldwide. Now she stays in India. People come to her. This was transcribed from talks given in Dalhousie, 1980 something or other, 1989. We are talking about an alternative way of living, which is a meditative way of living. Acquire knowledge, let it flow through you, let it be utilized in its relevant field without thought creating a knower. If we look at the roots of all human misery, we will find that misery is built upon our stupefaction. We do not know how to relate to the social structures and use them without identification, without creating a sense of authority out of them. Structures are not sacred. It is only life that is sacred. Patterns have no sacredness, whether you create them in the name of religion, spirituality, or politics. It is the pattern-free, structure-free, virgin dynamism of life that is sacred, that is divine. Wherever you have touched it with thought, you have manipulated it, you have structured it. It has a utility, but not sanctity. It has a utility, but no authority. You have a beautiful, sensitive body, and the sensitivity gets into touch with its respective objects and brings back sensations. Sensations are converted back to electric impulses, and the brain interprets them. It's a marvelous process of what we call experiencing. Contact with the outside world through the senses, which are very delicate, very tender. It is quite hard and arduous work to keep your sensual system pure, healthy, supple, and elastic. Nothing wrong in a sensual sexual experience, but you create an experiencer and you get stuck in the experience and its likes and dislikes, its values, its preferences. If the sensual contact with objects is allowed to flow through you without creating the experiencer, then the limited human-made world cannot corrupt you. The word meditation has been identified with psychophysical exercises, concentrations, methods, techniques, Kundalini, Shakti paths. The word has been abused and misused in such a callous way. No authority and no effort. Freedom from authority and the freedom from the struggle of efforts. Once you know that these human-made enclosures are only to be lived in, then the sense of comparing yourself with others, like he has a palace and I only have a hut, he has millions and I only have hundreds, the sense of comparison and the ambition for competition disappears. Your economic life becomes simple. No vanity, no pride about your scholarship, your erudition, and your social life becomes simple. You do not move around with a begging bowl for sympathy, for acceptance, for prestige, acknowledgement. Can you see with me that effortlessness is the content of silence? Silence is not only sitting still, it is a way of living. Meditation has no repetition at all. It is moment to moment. In the moment of relating, you are living. In the moment of aloneness, you are dying. It is living and dying, like inhaling and exhaling. To be alone is to die to the sense of being somebody or being something. Is not that the content of death? and dying. To be alone is to die to the sense of being somebody, a sinner, a saint, holy, knowledgeable, respected, rich, poor. To be alone is to die to being something according to the definition of society, according to the structure of religions. Physically isolating yourself may not lead you to the aloneness. It may not. That is what we are afraid of, dying to the sense of being somebody, dying to all the images that you have built up about yourself, is being alone. The way we're tackling the theme may be unusual, unheard of to many. It is a non-conventional way, a non-traditional approach. But I am really grateful that life brings you and me together. A few selections from The Enlightened Heart, edited by Stephen Mitchell. This is an anthology of sacred poetry. This one is by Lipo, 8th century. The birds have vanished into the sky, and now the last cloud drains away. We sit together, the mountain and me, until only the mountain remains. Layman Pang, 740 to 808. My daily affairs are quite ordinary, but I'm in harmony with them. I don't hold on to anything, don't reject anything. Nowhere an obstacle or conflict. Who cares about wealth and honor? Even the poorest thing shines. My miraculous power and spiritual activity, drawing water and carrying wood. My miraculous power and spiritual activity, drawing water and carrying wood. Rumi, 13th century. I have lived on the lip of insanity, wanting to know reasons, knocking on a door. It opens. I've been knocking from the inside. Rumi again. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other don't make any sense. Outside the freezing desert night, this other night inside grows warm, kindling. Let the landscape be covered with thorny crust. We have a soft garden in here. The continents blasted, cities and little towns, everything become a scorched, blackened ball. The news we hear is full of grief for that future. But the real news inside here is there's no news at all. Ryokan, 18th century in Japan, a hermit monk. First days of spring, the sky is bright blue, the sun huge and warm. Everything is turning green. Carrying my monk's bowl, I walk to the village to beg for my daily meal. The children spot me at the temple gate and happily crowd around, dragging at my arms till I stop. I put my bowl on a white rock, hang my bag on a branch. First we braid grasses and play tug-of-war. Then we take turns singing and keeping a kickball in the air. I kick the ball and they sing. They kick and I sing. Time is forgotten, the hours fly. People passing by point at me and laugh. Why are you acting like such a fool? I nod my head and don't answer. I could say something, but why? Do you want to know what's in my heart? From the beginning of time, just this, just this. This is from a different selection of ryokan. One robe, one bowl. An evening dream. Everything must have been an illusion. I cannot explain clearly even one part of what I saw. Yet in the dream, it seemed as if the truth were right in front of my eyes. This morning, awake, is it not the same dream? A thief has stolen my cushion and mat. Why did he break into my hermitage? The door is never locked. The night is ending, and I sit alone by the window. A sparse rain falls gently against the bamboo grove. lying on my grass pillow, dreaming about this dream world again, lonely, fitful sleep. As I watch the children happily playing, without realizing it, my eyes fill with tears. Thinking about the people in this floating world far into the night, my sleeve is wet with tears. The thief left it behind. The moon at the window. The Piece of Wild Things by Wendell Berry. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's life may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake nests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. Mary Oliver, contemporary poet. White pine. How beautiful this morning was Pasture Pond. It had lain in the dark all night, catching the rain on its broad back. All day I work with the linen of words and the pins of punctuation. All day I hang out over a desk, grinding my teeth, staring. Then I sleep. Then I come out of the house, even before the sun is up, and walk back through the pine woods to Pasture Pond. One last one by Mary Oliver from New and Selected Poems. The Sun. Have you ever seen anything in your life more wonderful than the way the sun, every evening, relaxed and easy, floats toward the horizon and into the clouds or the hills or the rumpled sea and is gone? And how it slides again out of the blackness every morning on the other side of the world, like a red flower streaming upward on its heavenly oils. Say, on a morning in early summer at its perfect imperial distance. And have you ever felt for anything such wild love? Do you think there is anywhere in any language a word billowing enough for the pleasure that fills you as the sun reaches out, as it warms you, as you stand there empty-handed? Or have you too turned from this world? Or have you too gone crazy for power, for things? We will end here for today.